Welcome back to the Wolff Den presented by Win Again Academy. I'm Matt Wolff, founder of Ticket Time Machine. Today we welcome Dr. Michael Hutchison to the show. Welcome to the Wolff Den.
Thank you, Matt. It's good to be here.
Yeah, important stuff that you're working on, so we're going to get that into the conversation. But for the people who don't know who you are, give us a quick intro.
I'm a practicing neuromuscular and cosmetic dentist in northern Michigan, Traverse City specifically. Been up here for 25 years and originally practiced in Chicago area, taking care of head and neck pain and cosmetic dentistry.
And how did you get into being a dentist? I guess I have some dentist friends. I'm not even sure if I ever asked them why they wanted to be a dentist, but how did you want to become a dentist?
Well, originally I wanted to be a veterinarian. I grew up in Ames, Iowa, at a #1 veterinary medicine school in the country, and I wanted to be a small animal doctor. So I knew some of the students from church, and I asked if I could go hang out with them for a day. And first thing we did was a pig surgery, which I thought was pretty cool. And then he said, I got to go check my artificial insemination. So we went into the barn and he put on a big glove up to his sleeve and stuck his arm all the way up the rear end of a cow. And I became very disappointed in the prospects of that. And I asked him if you want to be a small animal doctor, do you have to do that? And he says, everybody has to do that. My dad, being a farmer, when he grew up, he was a professor in exercise physiology, but I told him the story when I got home and how discouraged I was, and he had a real belly laugh about that. But then he said, well, why don't you become a dentist? They only work 3 days a week and golf the rest. And I thought, hey, now that's a good occupation. It didn't pan out to be true, but there is a little time for golf. But again, I went to observe another dentist in my hometown, and it was really enlightening and really fun, and I could just see myself doing it. And I decided right then and there that that's what I was going to do, and never look back.
But that's interesting because I hate going to the dentist. Anyone who knows me, my mouth is very expensive. I've had some problems. There's a lot of, I don't know, I guess the only word I could do, because I'm not doing it, is like there's some disgusting stuff that happens in the mouth. Was the vet and the insemination, were you disgusted by that, or you were just like, this isn't something I want to do? What was because it's not all, sunshine and rainbows working on people's mouths.
I guess being young, I didn't know all the aspects of it. And to me, it was rather obvious that running your arm up inside of a cow wasn't really that appealing to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, there can be some things that are a little bit not so good with dentistry in the mouth, but usually it's pretty straightforward, and most everything that we do is so positive. And even when I started out in 1987, that was the dawn of cosmetic dentistry, and where you could really you're not battling decay all the time, but you can actually do things that enhanced and made people smile better, that they were self-conscious about, that you could actually improve people's self-confidence and their function and all those things in a positive way. And that's kind of the direction I went, and that's what brought me to the point of where I'm here today with a physiologic jaw positioning mouthguard that reduces concussions down to 0.2%. But that really generated out of the type of dentistry that I started to do in the late 1990s.
Yeah, mouth guards, I grew up playing sports. Mouth guards, it's kind of like a football thing. people gave us mouth guards, but I never really wore one playing soccer or even basketball. And it turned out in my adult life that I ended up having an abscess in the front tooth, which was probably caused from getting hit in the face and playing sports throughout the years. Mouth guards and mouthpieces have become a little bit more popular, probably with Steph Curry chewing on his every other second.
That's probably, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's about the worst thing you can do with a mouth guard.
Yeah.
But a little history on that. In my end of 1940s, the Notre Dame players were breaking their teeth playing football, and there was actually an article written in Life magazine about it. And the American Dental Association took that idea and helped design a mouth guard to protect you from banging your teeth together and breaking them. And since then, that's been 73 years. And since then, we're still using the same mouthguard design after 73 years. And there's a lot of folklore about what a mouthguard does. But how did you like your mouthguard?
I don't even remember having. I never wore one. That's why. But if I ever did have one, it was annoying to me. It was probably that's why I didn't wear it, and probably why other people don't wear it. Is there a difference between a mouthpiece and a mouth guard?
No, they're just two different names. But um, the rules evolved in 1973. The NCAA made a rule that you had to wear a mouth guard, and it was on the upper, because that's in 1950. The concept of protecting your teeth was that your upper arch always should be in front of your lower arch, and so they called it the leading arch. But they didn't know anything about the physiology of how your lower jaw comes together with your upper jaw. They just were trying to protect you from breaking your teeth, and that's where we're at today. And what happens is that we've discovered over this time that there's something called mandibular or lower jaw physiologic jaw position, which allows full and complete neural information to all your muscles. And it's a passive position of jaw where your ball and socket are passively come together in the middle of the ball and socket. And so that can dissipate the G forces of a concussion away. So you get two benefits from physiologic jaw position, which has been discovered in the early 2000s. And those two things are an increase in your strength output. You already have it. You're just blocking it by the way your jaw comes together. That's by 16.8%, shown at Wayne State University. And then subsequently, we learned that when we were testing for strength, we learned that people were not having concussions. And the concussion rate with a physiologic jaw positioning mouthguard is 0.2%. That's phenomenal. You can't stop all concussions because it's a factor of force. Enough force, you're just not going to prevent it. But there's a lot of concussive forces coming to the jaw and translating to the brain. And frankly, we're not protecting the lower jaw at all. In fact, we're making it worse with the current mouth guard oftentimes. And we just send those forces to the brain. And we're making it worse with our chin straps and all kinds of things because we're just ignoring the lower jaw.
But if I'm wearing a mouth guard and I'm wearing a helmet and I get hit helmet to helmet in football, that is still gonna lessen the effects of a concussion?
If you have your jaw in its physiologic jaw position, problem with football is you got a helmet and you need to hold it on, so you have a chin strap and you tighten it up. And basically what you're doing, if I can illustrate for you, here's the ball and socket. When when you're open all the way, you can see how the jaw moves forward and touches the front of the jaw. Or when you're closed, it moves back and touches the back of the skull and translates those forces. So you want it to hang right in the middle of the socket. So if you're taking a chin strap and you're pushing that back up against the skull to hold your helmet on, when you get a blow to this side of your face and the jaw is part of that, you're going to translate that G-force right up to the bone that the brain sits right on top of. So this is why even with football, if you can have a mouth appliance that puts your jaw in that physiologic jaw position, it will, even though you have a chin strap, it will still keep that ball and socket separated from your skull.
How does that affect performance when you have, I mean, anything you almost are adding to your face or in your mouth? Is it something that people don't even feel, or is it that they have to get used to?
You can feel the difference. You can put your jaw in its physiologic jaw position, and then you can go to the bench press and you can put on 16.8% more weight to your max, and you can lift it right away. You can run faster, you can jump higher, you can stay in the game longer. Because if you look at, let's say you and I are moving a rope up and down and making a wave between you and me, and then somebody comes along and pinches the middle of it, it's going to stop going to you and just stay with you and the guy who's pinching it, with me and the guy who's pinching it. And that's what happens when we have a misalignment of the jaw. It blocks nerve information to your muscle fibers a certain percent. Wayne State showed nearly 17% blockage of nerve information to your muscle fibers. So if you have a muscle with 100 fibers, you're getting 77 muscle fibers firing and the other 17 are not. So what you do is you open up those channels by putting your jaw in its physiologic jaw position, and you immediately increase all muscle function by 17% on the average. The most I've ever seen is 62%.
Yeah, Brent says something about boxing, which I mean, is there one sport that should be using this more than another, or is it anyone?
No, every sport, because a lot of the sports don't require any mouth appliance, and they have concussions. Women's basketball, women's soccer, hockey, um, all sports, baseball. So
Pitcher just got hit in the head, had to go to the hospital in the Yankees with a comeback or a line drive.
that'll do it. But Tony Rizzo, first baseman,
Yeah, Anthony.
he got a concussion by running into someone at first base.
Well, what percentage of athletes are wearing mouth guards?
Only the contact sports. So there's actually four sports that the NCAA mandates. That's football, hockey, field hockey, and lacrosse. Every other sport is not required. Now you'll see some parents have started giving mouth guards to their kids and they get used to it, but there's no rule in any of the other sports. But I'm going to tell you, there's a couple of sports that come to mind that really need a mouth guard. One is women's cheerleading. They have every year one of the highest rates of concussions.
Really interesting.
Right. And swimming may not get a lot of concussions, but if I could give you, as a swimmer, 17% more strength, would that be beneficial to you?
No, I would
Of course,
think
of course it would.
anyone getting
That's really what started me doing this. I mean, it's not like I sat down one day and said, I'm gonna design a physiologic jaw positioning mouth guard. No, it just sort of fell out of the sky when I was treating head and neck pain patients something called TMJ. And when I would resolve their pain and headaches and problems, the common report was, I feel like I got more energy. I feel like I'm stronger. And some of the older women would say, I had these boxes of Christmas decorations in my basement I couldn't carry anymore. And now I can carry them no problem. What's up with that, Doc?
So
And
wait,
it's
I
all,
mean, you're more, you're more than the average dentist because you do deal in these other areas. Was that from the start, or did you evolve in your practice?
no, I started out as a general dentist, and a general dentist can do any aspect of dentistry from orthodontics to oral surgery to crowns, anything that is involved in dentistry, a general dentist can legally do. And when you start specializing, that's when the restrictions start coming on. So if you're specializing in root canal therapy, you can't do crowns anymore, but a general dentist can do everything. So,
But the jaw
right.
makes sense, but then you start talking about the neck, and now the brain. That feels outside of the scope.
Well, that's a thing that we're getting back to, because there was a time, especially when I started, that it was almost as if your mouth was not part of your body. You went to a dentist, not a physician. Some people would even say a dentist, not a doctor. A, a dentist is a super subspecialist of medicine. I'm a doctor of dental surgery. I do microsurgery every day on live tissue. Happens to be teeth, but they have a nerve in there. They're completely alive, and I repair those. And so if you go to Europe, you go to med school first, and then you specialize in dentistry. So now we're getting back to realizing that every part of our body affects other parts of our body. So this is one area that is really exemplary of that, because um, here's a scenario where if your teeth don't fit together right, your brain is going to sense that your teeth don't close together right, and you're restricting airway flow. So your brain's going to move your jaw, it's going to tip your head, it's going to push your chin out, lean you forward, whatever the brain senses that you need to function better, it's going to do, and you don't even know it. But what will happen is, for example, if your way to get the best airway is to lean forward and push your chin out, your neck's going to start hurting, your feet are going to start hurting, and you don't think, my feet just really bothering. You're not going to go to the dentist. You're going to go to a podiatrist, right? It seems counterintuitive, but when in reality, it's your bite that is causing you to do all this. And if you don't correct that, you're never going to correct it. And this is where this all started with the mouth appliance, is that the symptoms of TMJ are ringing in your ear, neck pain, back pain, uh, insomnia, your fingers tingle,
Yeah,
all these
clicking every
things,
time you move your jaw, right?
popping or clicking in your jaw. But all those other things, I don't see those people until they've seen all the other practitioners and they can't find anything wrong, which was the origin of TMJ. You would have these problems and you'd go to your primary care physician and they would say, I don't see anything wrong. Why don't you go to the dentist and see if you got an abscess tooth? And dentist would check you out and say, no, everything's looking great. So, okay, well, why don't you go to an ENT and have your ears checked? Everything's fine. Well, maybe you should go to a neurologist, see if you've got some sort of neurological problem. Nope, everything's fine. Uh, then you get back to the primary care and they'd say, I got this guy with a really nice couch. He's really nice. You can talk to him about your pain. and see if you guys can work it out. So I'm sending you to a psychiatrist, and this is what really took place early on in trying to figure out this temporomandibular joint syndrome, or TMJ. So it's all part of the whole mechanism of your body. And this thing that I'm talking about is just one more mechanism called physiologic jaw position that makes our body work better and be able to absorb, forces from external, and and help us to do better.
And the mouth guard helps with concussions. Does it help with TMJ? I see mouth guards and mouthpieces are becoming a bigger thing. It's one thing that you can use also to help with your sleep and sleep apnea, right? They have mouth guards for that. Talk about the design of a mouth guard and why it's different for this application.
Absolutely. The sleep appliances are important because not only do you need to open your vertical dimension, in other words, how tall your teeth are for your airway, but also it's forward, back, side to side in rotation. So a sleep appliance mouth guard, you need to be able to bring your jaw forward, kind of similar to rescue breathing. A TMJ is mostly due to your upper jaw and your lower jaw don't fit together properly. So your teeth may be too short, you may be biting too far, you may be too far open, which stretches open your muscles. Biting too close, too much together can cause you to have what we call, spasms or Charlie horses in your neck muscles and your jaw muscles, create headaches and pain, migraines, because of that overworking of the muscle. Similar to 24 hours a day having a Charlie horse in your head. This can be very debilitating, and migraines get, the catch-all term if you have a headache that's chronic and constant and lasts for a long time. It tends to be thrown in to being called migraines, even though a migraine is really specifically a problem where your cerebral or brain arteries are constricting. That's really what a migraine is. All the other headaches are not really migraines, but caused by muscle spasms. And if your teeth don't fit together right, this is going to radiate pain to your temple, because your temple muscle covers your whole head, attaches to your jaw. There's muscles on the inside of your jaw that pull your jaw together, and that's usually really spasmodic when you're clenching and grinding. And this is usually because your jaw and your muscles are not in harmony, and so there's a constant battle where your brain says, put your jaw over here, and your muscles say no over here, and you just constantly have a chronic battle between your muscles, and this is where all this gets generated.
But you might need several different mouth guards to deal with different stuff in your
Well,
life. You're playing the sports, a migraine, a sleep apnea. I mean, that's 3 different mouth guards, right?
the sports mouth guard that I invented really takes care of everything but sleep, because it doesn't really move your jaw forward. So if you have TMJ issues, you can take the PowerPlus Mouthguard and you can fit it into your physiologic jaw position. And as long as you wear it, you're going to feel great. You just can't wear it at night, because night is only 6 to 8 hours. The rest of 16 to 18 hours, you're not in a good position. And so this is the real important part of treating TMJ, and how the physiologic jaw position came to be, so that when you wear a physiologic positioning mouth guard, there's no blockage to your muscles. Your muscles are quiet, they're happy, and they don't block any nerve information to your extremities. It's only when you're not wearing it is when all that stuff comes out.
So you're saying wear this PowerPlus Mouthguard while you're awake, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, when I treat temporomandibular joint syndrome, I have patients who come in with chronic headaches, migraines, can't open very wide, neck pain that just, have for 2-3 weeks, chronic neck pain. And when I put their jaw in their physiologic jaw position, all that goes away. But as long as they wear the appliance 24/7, except when they eat or brush their teeth, will they get resolution. If they don't wear it, now you're going back to your bad jaw position and overworking and overcontracting your muscles, and
And
the pain gets generated again.
this mouth guard is for the upper, the bottom, or it's one piece that brings everything together. And obviously, my mouth is different than other people's mouths. So how do you get that to fit?
You're doing well here. Always on the lower, only on the lower. The lower jaw is the movable part of the skull, and that's the one that has to be positioned in the physiologic jaw position. You can wear, for boxers, they like to have an upper mouth guard mainly because they're used to it, but also there's an issue with cutting your lip if you receive a blow to your face or mouth. And so what I do is I make a 1 millimeter thick mouth guard on the top, cut out the back teeth so you can still have your physiologic jaw position and it's not too thick, and then a lower physiologic jaw positioning mouth guard. And this is really important for every parent, every coach, every athlete to know that there's 3 really important things. And one of them that you brought up is that everybody is different. But if you look at mouth guards, it's the same for everyone. And that's just counterintuitive. That doesn't make sense because it's not giving you what you can do in improvement. It's only protecting your teeth from banging together. So it's important that the mouth appliance goes on the lower teeth, not the upper. It's important.
All the other mouthpieces feel like it's for the upper, the football.
Yeah, it is.
Steph Curry underarm.
We talked about that. That's because in 1950, the ADA thought that the leading arch or the upper jaw was the most important.
But why haven't they evolved to both, where it's kind of has the lower and it supports the upper?
That's a question that cannot be answered because it's now we know about physiologic jaw position. There's just no reason that we should be wearing an upper mouth guard because we're opening our bites too much. We're doing everything working against ourselves.
But to talk about protecting those teeth from a dentist point of view, stuff that's breaking, and then also what happened to me is I lost this tooth, which I assume if I would have been wearing a guard, maybe would have helped, or maybe is that something that just can't be?
You said the operative word assume. And this is the problem with current mouth guards is that we all have been historically taught that that's where a mouth guard goes. And we all assume that they go on the upper teeth, and we all assume that they're going to not protect you from getting your tooth knocked out. But let me ask you a question. If you put it on the upper teeth, what's going to protect the lower teeth?
Oh, but that's why I say, why not both? Why isn't there a contraption for the upper while you're focused on the lower?
Because it doesn't do. What are you protecting it from? Let's ask that question.
Well, protecting it from damage there, but also,
I mean, what kind of damage? I think you're getting at knocking your tooth out.
Yeah, I mean that's
your tooth loose.
Yeah.
If you go on the American Dental Association website about mouth guards, you'll see that a mouth guard does not have the ability to protect you from getting your teeth knocked out or knocked loose because it's a flexible material. It can absorb the cushions of banging together, but if you get hit in the mouth with a hockey puck, that mouth guard, whether it's lower, upper, or both, is not going to prevent you from getting a tooth dislodged. It's not what it ever was, but there's this myth that people think that you're protecting them from getting knocked out, when in reality, all you're protecting them from is banging together. So a lower one or an upper one does the same thing when that's for that matter.
Yeah.
What the upper one doesn't do and cannot do is position your jaw in your own personal, unique physiologic jaw position, which increases your strength 17%, and it dissipates the forces of the concussion down to 0.2%. That's almost zero. An upper one cannot do that. And so that's why, for all the parents and everybody who's listening, in 2023, the state of the art is a lower mouth guard, and it has to be in your own personal physiologic jaw position in order for it to work. But if you do, you
How do we get that? How do we do that? Do I have to go in to see someone to position it? Is it something that just naturally goes with, like, it's soft and you harden it, almost like, your own mold?
Originally, when I evolved from extrapolated this idea from TMJ to sports, I was making custom appliances. That's the only way I did it. There was no way to, for you to buy one and fit it yourself. And as I went through all the testing and found these two important new discoveries, I put a lot of thought into how can I make an appliance that any kid could buy, follow the directions, easily fit it for themselves. And so it took me till about 2010 to figure out how I could have the plastic in the right way and the right technique to fit your jaw. It comes to find out that every time we swallow, which is 2,500 times a day and more if you're playing a sport, every time you swallow, you go into your physiologic jaw position. Or, a tennis player who goes to hit the ball and says, that's an autonomic nervous system function mechanism where you're not thinking when you're running to hit the tennis ball, okay, I'm going to contract my temporalis, I'm going to relax my pterygoid muscles, I'm going to twist. You don't do that. Your body does it for you. So when you swallow, it's the same thing. When you eat a piece of food and then you're going to swallow it, you don't think about, I'm going to do a curl. No, your body just does it for you. And
Yeah.
so when I developed this, this is what I did. I developed a way that you can heat it up, put it on your lower teeth, bring your lips together like you're going to kiss your mom, and swallow 5 times. And when you're doing that, your jaw is being positioned in your physiologic jaw position as the material cools down. And then every time you go to do any action, when you put your teeth together, you're never out of your physiologic jaw position. And that's the key to this whole thing. So it can work for, 5th grader all the way up to 90-year-old who wants to mow his lawn and gets tired, can do that, give himself more strength and stamina, and away he goes.
How often do you need to get a new one?
I always tell kids that they should change it. Number one, don't chew it, because chewing it makes it thinner. Thinner makes you weaker. And more.
Curry goes through like 12 of them a year, probably because he's chewing them. But how many would a normal? Well, it's a good question because a kid's mouth is evolving, an adult's mouth is probably there. So how often would a child?
I usually tell kids once a year, and suggest that adults consider that as well. But if it's in good shape and you're taking really good care of it, and it's not full of bacteria, that it should last more than that.
Yeah.
But if you use it a lot, if you're in an adult hockey league and you're wearing it a couple times a week, over the course of the year, you may want to get a new one in a year or so, but definitely kids because they grow and they won't fit after a year.
If you go to the website, and that's where you can buy these and take a look, PowerPlusMouthguard.com, I can get a $50 mouthguard, I can get a $500 mouthguard, and I can get a $1,500 mouthguard experience. Explain the difference between those.
Okay, so the standard one that I designed that anybody could fit themselves, that's one that's $43.95, and you can order it. Comes to you in a couple 3 days. Follow the instructions, the fitting instructions. Basically, warm it up, put it on your lower teeth, bring your lips together, and swallow. That's going to give you the exact same jaw position as the next level, which is a custom appliance where I send you a kit. You take your own upper and lower impression. Like if you go to the orthodontist, they take impressions or molds. You send those to me. I use the 3D printer. I print up your models. I take some material, whatever design you want. I pressurize it down on the lower arch so it fits only your teeth, very precise, and fit that into your physiologic jaw position and send it back to you. That's for, elite athletes, college, some pro, but people who are really serious about their athletic sport. And the final one, the Max Pro, is similar to a TMJ appliance, but I have to meet with you. I have to come and scan you, or you have to come here. I scan your teeth with a intraoral camera. I print up your models on a 3D printer, and then I construct digitally a clear, hard plastic, somewhat like your own teeth in your perfect jaw position, and go through what we need to do that. And then that gets printed up on a 3D printer, and it snaps over your lower teeth and actually becomes an extension of your lower teeth. Whatever discrepancy that you have gets eliminated by that hard plastic appliance. I have 5 Michigan football players using that this year.
The University of Michigan?
Yeah.
What's been the obstacle to getting everyone to use something like this? Are there other mouth guards that are on the bottom for this purpose, or is
No, there's not. This is a normal body mechanism, but it is a mechanism, so there's only one way to do it. The body does it only one way, and so there's no way to kind of go around doing it a different way. And when I knew that I had discovered an innovative body function, I sent in a patent in 2009 and was awarded 6 years later in Mexico, United States, and Canada. So there's no way anybody else can reproduce it because it's all covered by a patent. But the point is that this is the only way that your body works, and so you have to do it this way.
so why are people not wanting to use
I
this?
guess I would say that part of it is not having the resources to reach everyone, like Steve Jobs did with Apple back in the Super Bowl. He somehow got enough money to have a Super Bowl commercial, and kaboom, there was Apple. That was a fantastic product, and of course, when people heard about it, they did it. My problem is that I can't reach everyone, so they don't even know. And there's a big 73-year-old historical tradition about mouth guards, so you're battling what people are used to, and it takes more education to teach people that there is a better way 73 years later. So it's all about education. That's why I'm so excited to be on your program, because the people who are listening to your podcast are going to now know that they're crazy if they don't take advantage of something that's in
Yeah,
their body already.
this is what came to my mind is this is why not a Shark Tank opportunity, or not even that necessarily that show, but that some type of program like that accelerator to
Got to
get.
realize that Shark Tank is an entertainment, and that's its number one goal. And so, um,
I realize that, but I'm saying that type of there's other accelerator programs out there, or
yeah,
people who will help get it out there. One thing that came to mind when I looked at your product is the licensing of it to have a logo on it, for teams. How easy is that?
anything's possible. It's just that I guess the main barrier is before I met you. Did you know anything about PowerPlus Mouthguard or wearing a lower mouth guard, or had you heard anything about it? Or
No, but I mean, I don't know anything about mouth guards, so it's
well,
not.
but I mean that's the answer to the
Yeah.
question. If people
Plus,
ask
I
me
don't
all
have
the time, well, why
kids.
doesn't everybody know about it? Well, because I can't tell everybody about it.
Yeah, not, but I don't have kids who are playing in little league and
Yeah.
sports leagues. That's the type of thing. But people like licensed products. I think I saw one of your mouth guards has your P logo on that. Is that literally on the thing, or is that just online?
Those are no, those are the custom ones because uh, I can put anything on a custom one. It's the standard one. It's a injected molded mouth guard, and so you're limited as to what you can do
Got it.
because the plastic just gets injected into a mold. And you can't put logos on it.
Yeah, I think the problem is Brent, um, to get the publicity and people knowing it. Sometimes it doesn't even matter if you would do a deal on it, but they do take a little bit. I think they take some, and they might have stopped that. They used to take a portion of your company, whether you did a deal with them or not, 2%, 3%. But there are, I think there are opportunities like that. And I think I might have some in mind, and shows that might be worth you going to get in front of people. It's interesting, because you have Steph Curry, and that's like the cool thing, and he's chewing it, and they have flavored mouth guards, right? And it's Under Armour, and from what we can tell, from what I'm hearing, is that doesn't really do much. It's not really protecting you from much.
No, it doesn't really. And Steph Curry's is just a custom, really thin. All it is to keep him from getting his teeth fractured. He needs more, and he's actually received a PowerPlus mouth guard. So we are kind of lightly negotiating with a lot of NBA players, and I guess the most notoriety, and it's not as much, but my poster child is Daniel Sorensen, who played for the Kansas City Chiefs for 8 years. He was his wife was my brother's kid's babysitter in college, and when he got invited, he didn't get drafted. He got invited to the Chiefs to play on their practice squad. My brother handed him a PowerPlus mouth guard and said, "You should wear this," and he did, and quickly found himself in a starting uh, safety role. Went to 2 Super Bowls, never had a concussion, in the 9 years that he played in the NFL.
Yeah, I think you have a lot of athletes promoting stuff, and they're getting paid to do it, but you could have an opportunity for someone to be using it, and that's why they're going to promote. Hey, I use this. I don't need to promote it. I use this.
Right.
This is what I use, and
So,
it's helped me obviously because I'm continuing to use it, and it's better than what I had before. And maybe there'll become something that's better in the future, but this is what I use now. I think that
it's just
great opportunity in sport for you, and hopefully these athletes will get an opportunity to use it and share their findings on it.
yeah, it's just all about getting the word out that there's a new innovation
But it's
that's
not
made.
that new, right? I mean, is it? How
In
new is
the
it?
scheme of things, it's not really that new. I put it on the market in 2011 online, but it's in terms of the wide uh, acceptance, people don't know it, and when I talk to the moms, they all buy it and stick with it. But I just am now getting more and more notoriety, more and more publicity. It's growing, and people are starting to really embrace the new technology, which is exciting. But it's just a monumental task of trying to change a paradigm of an appliance or a mouthpiece that people hate. They don't want to wear them. They're forced to wear them
Yeah.
until you get to the pros. Even college has there's a penalty, a loss of a timeout if you don't wear a mouth guard. So, but that is not on the top priority of all the refs
Yeah.
in football, and so you see a lot of people in college, they're not wearing them. Cam Newton didn't wear a mouth guard in the national championship game, and I wish I had the telephone number of the opposing coach. I'd have told him, you can get a timeout. You can make them lose a timeout if you know.
Well, safety is obviously the number one thing. Being able to be healthier and enhance your performance. I mean, these are all things that people should be looking to do in their everyday life, whether they are playing sports or not. So, it's good to educate people that there's something out there that might be able to help them. What's next? I mean, what's next with the mouth guard? Is there an evolution? Are we, because you said it's been so long and it's been using the same one, and now you tweak it a little bit, but is there much more to do, or is this kind of?
I think right now just the education, just getting people to know about it, because why would you wear a mouth guard that doesn't help you with concussions and really holds you back performance wise? Why would you wear that when you can just switch it to a physiologic jaw position mouth guard, run faster, jump higher, hit the ball farther, stay in the game longer? There was a study showing increased stamina with a physiologic jaw positioning mouth guard. And why would you not do that?
It sounds like anyone who's buying mouthpieces should. So that's the challenge. Get the people to understand this is an option, and certainly the stars of the professional sports is one way, but grassroots and the little leagues and the recreational sports that the kids are playing, is certainly another way to go. But it's great to have information. That's it. It's one of the biggest obstacles to everything is people not knowing about it. And now once they know about it, now they got to figure out how can they get involved with it, and how do you get it to the masses, and how do you get it so incentivize people to want to get it. Maybe it's a logo on it. Maybe, who knows? I mean, it's like the helmets, right? Nobody wants to wear a helmet. And then you start putting stickers on the helmet and designing helmets, and all of a sudden people are, wearing helmets more. Sponsoring youth leagues could be, or just maybe providing some of these to a team. I don't know. There's definitely ways of getting out there. I think we can talk about that. I have some ideas and some people that might be interested in hearing more about what you're doing. I was at the Super Bowl event for Lee Steinberg, and I think this might be something that he's got like a symposium around. It's more around the brain, but certainly everything's connected.
Been there for 4 years.
At the Super Bowl?
Yeah, Lee Steinberg's was in California.
Were you in this? I was only in Arizona. I was there.
My PowerPlus was in Arizona.
Okay.
At his thing. We were also in Miami, and Lee Steinberg's a great advocate of this technology, because he feels that he gets his guys out to play the sports, and then it's a dangerous sport, and he just feels a fiduciary responsibility to help them in any way possible. So he's invited me to that 4 years in a row.
No, it's a great platform. Well, we're going to help get the information into people, and see if we can't get them using this stuff, and hopefully giving us some positive reviews. Let's get them to try it and and see what they think about it. We're gonna. I know you got some surgery to perform today. It's not all fun and mouth guards.
That's fun too.
Yeah. But we're gonna let you out of the Wolff Den with the same question everyone gets. You get 1 day to spend with anybody in the world. They have to be alive, and you can't be related to them. Who would you choose, and what would you guys do?
We'd probably play golf, and I think it would be Jim Nance.
Jim Nance. I
Yeah,
love Jim Nance. Jim Nance, Marlboro's one of Marlboro, New Jersey's finest. Went to the high school that I went to. Great sportscaster.
yeah, and he's just a good guy, good person, and he's been inspiring in all that he's done. And he was a college golfer, so I could learn something from him on that.
Yeah, man, he's a jack. He's great. Him and Tony Romo on football are great. He does great on golf broadcasts. He could do anything. Him and Fowler are my two favorite sports. I love to hang out with either one of them. But Jim Nance is on the list. And yeah, again, I went to the same high school I went to. Would love to have him on the program. So I'll try and get that.
If I run into him, I'll tell him.
Yeah, let him know to do the Wolff Den. Check out PowerPlusMouthguard.com. If you have any questions, reach out to Dr. Hutchison and team. Information at the website, and get protection for your kids and for yourself when you're playing sports. Stop using a mouth guard that doesn't do anything just because it might look fancy and good. So,
amen.
Yeah, appreciate your time here. And we got another episode tomorrow, so stay tuned and have a great night. Talk to you soon.
Take care. Thanks for having me.